Hey guys, so glad that you're here. We are about to begin the south direction of the medicine wheel, which is the direction of the Sacred Heart Warrior. Whether you are looking for deeper, more connected relationships or to improve your emotional intelligence, this is the place for you. The south direction is where you can deep dive into those topics and make some really epic changes in your life through learning how to love ourselves well and by heightening our intuition or listening to that inner voice within us, we begin forming a significantly stronger foundation for inspired and resplendent relationships. When you can understand the energy of the medicine wheel and how to manipulate it, you can live a more balanced life, which is in alignment with who you are at the soul level. For example, going into the Sacred Heart Warrior, when you understand one of the key elements is nurturance, and you learn to nurture your own self and others in a way that is healthy and from a spirit-led place, and you trust your own abilities and power and intuition and release the fears and trapped emotions that bind you, then you begin to recover your divine essence. And when you live from this divine essence, life becomes technicolor. It becomes vibrant and really, really quite splendid. So there was a time in my life where I struggled in relationships. I didn't have the capacity for really self-love. And, I was pretty codependent. I was fearful of my next step. And I've had some really insightful teachers and guides in my life. George, who was a Hopi medicine man, Isabel, my beloved grandmother, Melody, a Navajo shaman, and countless others over the span of my nearly 30-year journey to where I am now. Along the way I gathered tools and lessons, and I redefined my life and my relationships to myself and to others. So I've got a good handle on how to guide people to this place of knowing. I've been mentoring people, now for many, many years, and within the sacred tool of the medicine wheel or the sacred wheel, I've discovered and now teach others how to use this tool as a framework for navigating your life and creating, significant change. The birth of Gaia Wisdom School began many years ago as I developed courses for people to step fully into their lives. And today, I and my partner, Amber, have created Gaia Wisdom School as a space for conscious healing and evolution. We both have a very strong mission statement, of helping to guide others to embrace and embody that their power. I won't do the work for you. That isn't my job. My job is to guide you how to do those things for yourself. And through the ancient teachings of the medicine wheel. But if you are ready to do the work, your life can change in profound ways, much quicker than you might even think. As an example, let's listen to one of our students, Grace, who has this to say about her experience working with me and with the medicine wheel.
What is most special to me about the Gaia Mentorship program is that in 1 year it did for me what was never achieved in 7 years of therapy. And there's just no value that I can place on that. Um, I was drawn to this community because I just have not found anyone like Dakota. And there's just no one like her um, that I've ever experienced. And Dakota, um, I felt that Dakota cared for the health of my soul, and And she did so just because that's who she is. It's what she does. And so that really drew me into this program. And it made it very unique for me because it created a very different energy from other approaches that I had tried, because there's no hierarchy and we're like one big family. And the loving and supportive community is just nothing that I've experienced can really compare to that. But when I reflected on my year in Gaia mentorship in comparison to all the years of therapy, what stood out for me was that in therapy, I learned um, tools and techniques to manage symptoms and to cope with life circumstances. And I learned how to reframe my thought patterns and change my behaviors. Um, but those things never really got to the core of what needed to shift within in my life, um, because it didn't deal with how do I completely heal and eradicate these things. It just focused on how do I manage them. And after I've managed and controlled and administered and um, and coped, um, what's next? And that was where I always found myself. And so after all of those years, I still had the same unhealthy relationships. I attracted unhealthy relationships. I was estranged from my family. And I always had this hole within myself. Um, there was an emptiness that I could never really put my finger on. And when I started the Gaia mentorship, by the second direction, everything was so crystal clear for me. And it was such a different and such a unique experience because the medicine wheel provided just a beautiful container for me to apply just the right tools at just the right time. And I completely was able to transform my life. And the changes are so profound that it's hard for me to articulate. But when I look at my life now, I have wonderful relationships. I have a great connection with my family. I am embracing my own spiritual path and learning how to use the voice that I didn't or wasn't allowed to use as a child. And at times now I don't even recognize myself. And um, and so for me, the mentorship taught me how to move through pain and move through trauma and move through difficult experiences. And so I moved from coping to healing and from compartmentalizing to just a beautiful completeness within myself. I moved from managing symptoms to integration and mastery of myself, and just learning who actually is the self, who really am I, as that's one of the things Dakota taught me, and that no one can define that for me. Um, Only I can determine what what that looks like in my life, and um, moving through all the many traumas of my life versus coping with them forever and ever, um, and healing them and eradicating them. And just obliterating them to where they don't even exist. I don't even remember those labels. I don't even use those labels. And I don't even want to hear the word diagnosis. And so I am just ever so grateful for Dakota. And I'm so grateful for this community and just to be a part of a loving and supportive um, container for growth and integration. It's just such a beautiful space. And I love it when one person overcomes a challenge and it's like everyone overcomes that challenge and it's just so wonderful to witness. So I am grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful. And I think if I had to find one word to describe just the profound change that I have received in Gaia mentorship, it would be that I have found wholeness.
So in an upcoming video, I will be diving into some in-depth teachings where I will share with you what it means or looks like to be in a sacred relationship with others and with yourself. I'll also talk a bit about twin flame energy and why it seems to be such a presence for so many people at this time. And I'll talk about the energy that is related to the south direction of the medicine wheel, which is the direction that we're about to enter. In the Sacred Heart Warrior, we work deeply in the context of relationships to ourselves and to others, and even in working with that energy of the twin flames or soulmates, and much more. But for now, I would like to leave you with just two simple yet powerful tools that you can implement right away to help get you started in making positive changes in your life. So one is for strengthening your relationship to yourself, and the other is going to be for strengthening your relationship to another person. So first, to yourself. Make a list of what you feel are your best qualities. Then for one day, take notice of how and where you display or have the opportunity to display those qualities. For example, I feel that one of my best qualities is my ability to deeply listen to others. And today, I could do that when a friend was sharing her struggles about her relationship to her mom. Some days I don't always have the opportunity to display that quality, and some days I had the opportunity, but maybe blew it when I tried to give advice. So just notice how those parts of yourself show up and how you can interject them more and more efficiently and profoundly in your life. This simple awareness technique helps you to also identify possible places where you might be more challenged or could use more energy. The second tool is for building relationships to others. It's another awareness technique, and it is simply to see the good in another person, even if that person is at odds with you. So when we begin looking for the good in others, they will naturally start displaying those good qualities. It is a governing precept in quantum physics that matter and energy react to the observer. So if we observe the anger or the fear within someone else or their less than admirable traits, then that is exactly what we will be presented with. That will be our experience with that person. If we can observe their beautiful qualities and the undercurrent of their soul, then that will be what is presented to us. So practice this with everyone you encounter, but specifically with those who you may have a strained relationship with. Then see how they shift by you changing your perceptions. Okay, I know that you may be thinking, how can I build sacred relationships with my mother, who I haven't spoken to in 20 years, or maybe you are one who has been in traditional therapy for 20 years and still have not been able to get past the anger of fill in the blank. And I'm going to address that and more in the next video. In the next video, in fact, what I'm going to do is give you some great stuff on building sacred relationships, and we'll also talk a bit about the twin flame energy. and why that is so prevalent. But I'll also have some soul worksheets for you to download so that you can begin putting some of these items into action. So for now, thank you so much for watching. And if you know of a friend or a loved one who could benefit from these lessons, please pass this along. I also would love to know what you want to know most about building sacred relationships. So please comment below and let me know your burning questions. I look forward to seeing you in a few days on the next video. And thank you. I'm going to go for a walk.